Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we're reviewing this 2021 Range Rover Velar. It is finished in Eager Gray, and I don't know anything about Range Rovers, so the only reason I know that is because it's written on the key here. The inside of it is white. It's actually really nicely done. This car was not spec'd, it was just on the dealer lot, but still, it's actually a really nice spec. Got really lucky. I know literally nothing about this car. I have not only not driven it, but I have not even seen it until right now. As you will see, it does not have a lot of miles on it. It does have a lot of pollen on it, as I'll show you in a second. But I think you might be able to see it. I literally have washed the vet 3 times this week, still covered in pollen right now, and I wouldn't want anyone to see it how it is. But you can see the door handles are like this when they're unlocked. If you lock the car, it will close, I'd assume. I don't even know how to press that button. Whatever. Not my car, I guess I don't need to know. This seat's probably be way too far forward, but let's get in and let's go for a drive. As you guys should be able to see, it has only 91 miles on it. It is brand spanking new. Okay, so again, nothing in here is familiar to me, but I know what an engine start button does. Okay, so this is my first impression of the screens and everything. Obviously you can see they're flickering, that's just the camera. The dials feel really good. I mean, yeah, they're solid. I normally like having a physical shifter that's not this, but that's not bad. The park button, it's much nicer in here than the Macan, which is what this car is replacing. Wheels much nicer, colors much nicer, material quality is just so much better. I'm not a Porsche hater, but I'm a Porsche hater. So, moving on. the climate control, everything's really nice in here. The screen is not that big. I'm assuming that's, yep, apps. Wow, it has a lot of stuff. And, it's, you know, the Range Rover, off-road capable. So, let's go for a drive and let's see what I think. First impression, to shift the car, the button to move the shifter is in front of it. I thought it would be behind it. But the shifter feels good and solid. The rear view camera looks like video quality. Like a little too nice. I mean, I'm joking, but it doesn't look that... I don't know if it's as helpful as every other rear view camera in the world, but it looks better than every other rear view camera in the world. Okay, so the last car I drove that wasn't mine was the M850 in the last video, and I thought that felt like a boat. Oh my god, does this feel like a boat. Okay, so judging by the Macan, because I think that is something that someone watching this would be comparing it against, feels a lot bigger, steering feels a lot better. The car is, it's not more responsive, but the steering's heavier. Blinker button feels great. All the buttons, the switch gear is so much nicer than the Macan, and someone buying this car, like a mom or something, would love that. Power-wise, not that anyone cares, but the throttle is a little sensitive. I don't like that. It's much more solid on my Vet, the BMW, and the Macan, actually. There's one thing I'll give you, Porsche guys. It actually, I'm not going to say it handles better than the Macan, but for how much bigger it is than the Macan, it handles better than the Macan. The steering is, holy, that is loose. That is very, I'm sorry guys, I drive a Corvette, it's a little bigger. The brake feel, I don't like that. That's the opposite of too sensitive. That needs some more sensitivity to it. The paddles feel really good. I'm not going to downshift because the car is still being broken in, obviously. Need a little blinkers right now. Okay. The brakes work good, but the feel of the pedal isn't great. Clearing that pollen, though, felt amazing. So, from what I've heard, the tank on this car is only 16 gallons, which I will admit is quite awful. Right here, I am suddenly becoming aware that this car is a lot bigger than I thought it was. And for some reason, I'm in normal drive mode, but it's revving to 3,000. And for a car that only revs to 6, that is a lot, just cruising here. It feels like it's underpowered, but it's got power. I think the shifting might be a little off. Comfort-wise, it rides so much better than the Macan, oh my god. In fairness, the Macan's tires were pretty shot the last time I drove it, and these are brand new tires. But, it handles good. not awful handling. For a car this big, it's pretty great. Steering is way looser than the Macan, but I like the feel better, and you feel like you're in a bigger car, which obviously you are, but for an SUV, it just got a more substantial feel. Ride quality, infinitely better. Infinitely. All the buttons just feel way, way, way better. Not even close. I'm not going to do engine sound or a pull or anything like that. There's really no reason to. I guess I'll reconnect with you guys in a little bit. Okay, so I've been driving for a lot longer, and I've gotten a better feel for the car. The fact that it's raining and that I'm driving normally, whatever, I get to use all the buttons, and the difference between this and the Macan is night and day. All the Porsches feel the same, as you saw in the last Speedster video. That is the same interior as a Macan, a Cayenne. That's my problem with the Speedster. That's why I think it's so overpriced. This, I don't know anything about Range Rovers, but this is so much better than the Macan. I can't tell you it's better than another Range Rover, worse than another Range Rover. But if you're cross-shopping this with the Macan, oh my god. If you don't care about, like, the Macan's a little more sporty, but it's so much smaller. It's justifiably sportier. This is sportier, I think, for its size. Not that this is sporty in any way whatsoever, but the Macan was so bad for a Porsche. Oh my god, the brakes on this car are not great. I didn't even brake late there. The brakes on this car are awful. The feel is just, there's nothing a lot. The 720S actually has an interesting brake feel, but it feels more like a clutch pedal on that car. It's really cool. It's very engaging. You get used to it after like 20 minutes. It's a little weird, but you get used to it. And it's pretty heavy, but this is, I think this is heavier. I don't even know if it's supposed to be like this. Because this is an SUV. This is not just an SUV. It's not even a sport SUV. This is a Range Rover. I mean, as you saw with the settings before, all it really cares about is going off-road. And doing that great, obviously, but now that I've really been driving it, I don't know how okay, so the Macan's a little sportier, and coming from me, this is going to sound insane, but I prefer this. The steering is actually better. Not the steering feel is better. The buttons, the interior are nicer. The look, I think it looks a lot better. You got a much bigger car. You have way more room in the back. The Macan doesn't even have a middle seat. Like, there's no room for any human being. A little kid can barely fit there. But let's conclude the rest of our thoughts as we get outside the car. Okay, so I was messing around with this a little bit off camera, and it's pretty easy. All the buttons look like they should. You know, your nav, you got your phone. I like that that's an Android. Thank you, Range Rover. You got your media, you got everything here, and it's a really fast screen. The Macan was a touchscreen, but it was really lazy. It was a little taller than, taller than this, not as wide though, and it had nowhere near the resolution of this. I mean, again, I know this is flippy like this, but all the screens, all the switchgear, the interior is so much nicer. I guess you have to shut the ignition off. Here's the thing with auto start stop. I absolutely hate it. Like, I didn't shut the car off, so I'm assuming yeah, okay. I hate auto start stop. Having a stick is so nice with that because it doesn't do it. I'm gonna have to turn that off in the C8. I didn't turn it off on this car because it's not my car, not my problem. But just all the buttons really feel great. Sorry about that little rant, but the paddles are 10 times the size of the Macans, and I don't care what anybody says. Porsche's transmissions, that PK is not as good as what people think. These are a little cheap. These are nice. I mean, the speakers, everything is just 10 times the quality of the Macan. So let's conclude our thoughts in a little bit. Before I get out of the car, I just noticed all these buttons on the steering wheel for the phone and everything. That is nice. The Porsche had the worst buttons on there. Ever. Okay, the car looks way better than the Porsche. I don't love these wheels. I'm assuming they're the standard ones. Again, I didn't inspect this car. I'm not really involved in this kind of thing. But I did just realize that it does not tell you that you leave the key in the car like my vet. There's one negative. Yeah, the C7 really yells at you when you do that, so I just realized, oops, I don't have the key, but whatever. The key is... it's nice. It's old Range Rover. I've seen that key. I swear I've seen that key. I really like the door handles. You feel like you're a Huracan, Tesla, GTR type thing. The GTR is the coolest one because it's push in and pull out, which I thought this was, but now that I see when the car's unlocked, it's like that. Locking the car, I'm assuming it's double press then, because I couldn't do it before. Yeah, there you go. That's pretty cool. I like this. And you unlock it, they come out to you. Yeah, I like that a lot. That's actually really nice. Overall, the car drives better than the Macan for an SUV. The Macan isn't sporty enough to justify the difference. It's very, very close in sportiness, and this has absolutely no sportiness. So that's what you hear about the Macan. The rear, did it just lock itself? Nope. I don't know what that was. But the rear seating, this is with someone who is 6'3", standing in the front. The rear seating is 10 times the size of the Macan. Oh, you actually do still have this hump, but it is nowhere near as high as it is in the Porsche. And back here, it's really cheap. This is really cheap stuff. That is plastic. That is plastic. Yeah, that is really cheap. But, like, the door handles, kind of like big Huracan door handles, actually. I really like it back here. Just not any of this console. This console is absolutely garbage. No, nothing back here is nice. But, the seats and the buttons that you feel in the front are really nice. And all these door struts that no one cares about, but they're finished really nicely. Porsche doesn't really give you that kind of satisfaction. So, why would you buy the Macan over this car? Because there's the word Porsche on it. It's not actually that much better driving, sporty-wise. It doesn't look better. It's not nicer inside. And obviously with Porsche options, they can get as expensive, if not more expensive than this, if you get the GTS or the Turbo. What I'm going to say is this is a better car. Because it's a better SUV. The Macan's not even that much better of a sports car. If you want a sporty SUV, you go with a Stelvio, maybe an F-Pace, but not a Macan. Never a Macan. The name Porsche, if you want to sound like you're owning a Porsche, that is why you buy the Macan. If Range Rover is the same thing, I've always said, I would never own a Range Rover because it's literally all about the name. The little Velar, however, is so much less than the other Range Rovers. And again, I think it's nicer just because it's a little smaller. It felt big on the road, but it didn't feel like an absolute tank. Thank you guys for watching this video, and please like and subscribe if you liked what you saw.